Well, would you look at that, YouTube? How y'all doing? I'm drinking some classic Pilsner right now. And, yeah. We'll see what's what. So, first things first. And we'll say this again, but... So, yesterday I teased this video about Jeremiah from Hot Butcher coming on. He's not. So, for those waiting for that, there you go. You can leave. As you can understand, when a brewery like Hot Butcher does what they do and that news gets out, life becomes hectic and get pulled in 19 different directions. So I was a little bit too optimistic of getting him on, in such short notice. Like I was trying to do like literally less than 24 hours, but we're pushing it off until right now. We're going to do it Monday or Tuesday. We're going to find some time. So we'll see what's what. It's on his schedule. I'm a very, very patient booking agent, I guess, for my own show. And we'll wait to see what he has time-wise coming up. Because I don't want to stress him out. So much shit is going on and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what's what. So yeah, we're gonna wait on that. Jeremiah and the Hot Butcher stuff will come shortly. We're gonna speak to some of that tonight. We'll probably have a couple of people pop in and kind of hang out and have some chats and all that kind of fun stuff. So we'll see what's what. Anyway, first in the chat we'll see Mark Van Zeeland saying, "Hey, what's going on, homie? Good to see you here." And then Hatchabalashi chiming in saying, "Holy crap, on time to the T, son." That's how I roll. This is he's drinking a Pilsner too, Icarus. Pound of Mosaic. But yours looks legit. Yeah, I mean, Kulmbacher is one of my favorite breweries, old school breweries, Bavarian brewery. Their Kulmbacher Eisbock is like one of my OG favorite Icebox. Readily available, $12 a 6-pack, super tasty. But this Edelberg, Edelberg pills has always been like a soft spot in my heart. I've really enjoyed it, but it's like Shelton Brothers, the importer of this on the back, who are semi-defunct now. They basically went into bankruptcy, but they still exist. Just in a different format nowadays. This is kind of their beer, like the Dan and Joel Shelton from Shelton Brothers. It would be like, every time I did some podcasts with them. I've done some the old radio show stuff with them. They would always talk about we would always talk, I should say, us talking heads would always talk about the beers, the fancy pants beers that they imported. Like if you drank Shelton Brothers beers in the United States, you're drinking Cantillon, Dre Fontaine, Fantôme, like all the big hitters, like of the fancy pants beer world. Like Shelton Brothers, that was their thing. Like you're talking about, like they've been importing Cantillon since like the 80s. You know what I mean? Like they were doing it before beer was cool. But Kulmbacher was their jam. Like they loved it. Like Dan and Joel would be like, I'd be like, so let's talk about Dre Fontaine. And they'd be like, why don't we talk about Kulmbacher and their Pilsner and how it's the best beer in the universe? That's how they would always roll. And they would be tongue in cheek a little bit there, but that was the beer. Like whenever I went to their festivals or talked to them, like at something they had to do, they would have a Kulmbacher tent that would be drinking Kulmbacher Pilsner. And I have no idea how I have never reviewed it on my channel. I did. Well, an hour or so ago, I reviewed it. It won't be up for a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see, if anybody comments on it. It just kind of falls into the ether as a lot of these old school brewery reviews tend to do. We'll see what's what. I sent a bottle off to my buddy Keith. He might be joining shortly to hang out for a little bit and go from there. So we'll see what's what. Yeah, very fun stuff. Very fun stuff ahead. What else? Let's go to a little bit of chat so we don't skip anything. Mark Van Zeeland saying he's drinking the Mosaic Mustache from Yilte. I've had a couple of beers from those guys. I enjoy. Felix from up in America's Hat saying cheers, Matt. What's going on, homie? Hatch and saying Mosaic Boys in the house, son. And Matthew Brzezinski, I am curious on what your opinion is on why certain breweries make good hazies and others cannot. I always thought most hazies have the same hops, yeast, etc. Well, I mean, my opinion is some know what the fuck they're doing. So, I mean, that's the most simplest. Let's leave that comment up so people know the context of what I'm talking about. You know, to answer your second part of that question real quick, just so it gives my answer context, is I always thought most hazies have the same hops, yeast, etc. Well, give the same ingredients to a good chef and give the same ingredients to a mediocre chef, you're going to get two markedly different meals. And that's kind of the crux of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a science and there's a way to make a hazy. And there's some people that know and some people don't. Now, a lot of the breweries that make really good ones, they've learned the ins and outs of what makes a good hazy from the people that have made good hazies. You know, there's no secret why, you know, Treehouse and Trillium exist. And all of a sudden, you know, you have other breweries pop up doing hazies. And then all of a sudden you have other breweries pop up doing really good hazies. Either they're friends of the people that own those breweries or their assistant brewers or brewers at those breweries, and they open their own brewery so they understand how to make a good hazy. And then you have the other portion of the show, which is the people that like those beers but don't understand how they're constructed. So what they do is they try to make those hazies based off of zero information whatsoever. That's why you get the difference you have. You know what I mean? Because there's a big gap. I mean, there's most brewers are going to be pretty open about their trade secrets, but then there's some breweries that are always going to keep stuff close to the vest. I know Treehouse is very close to the vest when it comes to what they do. You know, I've had actual like friends that were brewers, and this is like years ago. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. That like Treehouse is like, hey, we have some extra hops. We don't need them. We're trying to hook people up. You know what I mean? Like if you need these specific hops, we'll sell them to you, whatever we paid for them. And I had a very local, very small brewer by me go be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? That's great. You know what I mean? I kind of need these hops. So, you know, they decided to take a trip up to Treehouse, go pick the hops up, and they got there and they said, okay, give us a call when you get here. And they said, okay, stay out there. And then the person comes out and is like, okay, I'm going to bring the hops to you. And he's like, okay. And he started following me. He's like, no. He's like, you are not allowed in there. You're not allowed in the brewery. He's like, you know how to brew. You don't want you to see how we do stuff. You know what I mean? So again, that's that person's, what they told me. Did that really happen? I would assume so. The person that told me that doesn't tell like lies and shit like that. But, you know, there's some people that are very open about their processes. Some aren't, you know, and, so it's one of those things where you just know how to do it. You know how to do it, or you know other people that know how to do it and they help you along the way, you know. But that's not just one minute kind of turn of the screw in the whole process. You might have a brewery set up where you can't make really good hazy IPAs. Maybe you have some old school setup that's built strictly for, you know what I mean, like shilling ales and lagers or whatever. Like there's so many moving parts when it comes to a brewery. It's not just like I have the ingredients, I have a brewery, I can make the things that I want to make. You know what I mean? Like it's like some breweries are set up specifically for specific kind of beers, and then when you try to make a hazy on it, just can't do it because the processes involved aren't in tune with what you're trying to do at a brewery. You know, like you could, okay, this person, you're talking about like ingredients that we talked about at the beginning, your hops, yeast, and malt, you know. This person uses this kind of malt. I'm using that kind of malt. Well, where the fuck did you get the malt from? It's, you know, I can get a hamburger from McDonald's. I can get a hamburger from fucking Ruth Chris. I'm pretty sure the Ruth Chris hamburgers would be way better. They're both hamburgers, though. Same thing goes with hops and be like, I got Citra. That guy's got Citra. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, there's good batches of Citra and there's bad batches of Citra, you know, and if you're not privy to the good ones, then, you know, your beer might not shine as well. So, you know, there's so many moving parts to it. and it's kind of like you got to know the game. And some people do, some people don't, and then some people don't care to. There's a lot of breweries that do hazy IPA because they have to, they don't want to. Or bigger breweries that just do it because it's a way to make a buck. So they're like, yeah, where can we where can we cut corners? Can we do that? There's some breweries that do like really good hazy stuff on the cheap, and they because they know how to cut corners, but also retain quality. So the question is so loaded, and it's so many moving parts to it that it's very, very, very hard to kind of nail down exactly what it is, so Mark Van Zelen, give me a little muscle man, little curl there. I don't know what that means. It says Felix says, what are your favorite hops? I like Sabro with its notes of coconut. Citron Galaxy. Those are the best. When you drink a beer and it says like it's a Sabro beer, there's probably 3/4 Citra in that, and then a third Sabro. Like it's like Citra's in every single beer, or hazy, big old hazy. So let's put. Sabro's really cool if it's done in a specific way, but it's also one of those things where it's like hops are they're organic, they're a plant, they're like weed. They can change over time, and how this changes and how that changes, and the beers can fluctuate as far as how they express themselves, or hops, can fluctuate in how they express themselves. I've had years where Citra is kind of like meh, kind of shitty. So it can fluctuate. But the typical hops that I dig on, Citra Galaxy, I love fucking Simcoe. Like, I love Simcoe, but I like old school Simcoe, like old school, like 2005 to 2015 Simcoe. Like Simcoe had this like cat piss, like crazy ranky thing going on that was like, I loved it. And it's almost been bred out of it. That like now Simcoe doesn't even have any shape or form kind of relation to the way it was like 15 years ago. So I love the Caddy Simcoe. I like Cashmere. I love old school hops too. Like when you talk about like English ales and English barley wines, like I love Kent Goldings, East Kent Goldings, Fuggles. It depends on the beer too. You're talking about a big old hazy. You want to, toss that Citra Galaxy with an experimental hop at me. Have at it. You talking about a Pilsner? Well, you want your old school hops. You're a Hop Top Blanc and your Zazie stuff. You're talking about English beers. You want to go, like I said, Goldings, Fuggles, those kind of things. Great. West Coast IPA, you want to go old school Seas, you want to go Cascade, Chinook, those kind of hops. So it really depends on what kind of beer you're drinking. Speaking of beer drinking, what's going on, dude?
How much?
What are you up to? Yeah.
Hold on. I might have to. Can I? Is that better?
Something changed. No, I can hear you the whole time.
Is that better though?
It's when you go to the optometrist, do you wear glasses or contacts?
No.
Okay. So when you go to the optometrist and they test your eyes, they put this machine in front of your eyes and they flip these slides and they go better or worse, better or worse, better or worse. I don't know. You're the same. You're the same but different. I can't tell you if you're better or worse. Oh, okay. Like you're fine before, you're fine now.
Okay.
So there you go. Anyway, what's going on?
Not much. I would have been on sooner, but it took me 20 minutes to find a not IPA at the liquor store.
And what are you drinking? Is that Allagash Dark Knight or some shit like that?
No, it is the Elementary Old Earth Organ Oatmeal Stout.
Oh, did you get that from Bourbon Wine and Whiskey Country or whatever?
Yeah, it is? Yeah, the place right up there.
How old is it?
February 18th. So
Oh,
2.5
this year?
months old. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even I didn't even care. I was like, I just want dark beer, and as long as it was canned this year, it's fine. I don't care.
Fair enough, man. Well, we're talking about Felix. We're talking about hops, basically. Matthew Brzezinski was actually asking how people make good hazies and why other people suck. I went over that, but then Felix from up Montreal Way said, "Was some of your favorite hops? What are your favorite hops, Keith?
Some of the newer ones that have come out, like Sabro's pretty cool. I like that. I've always liked Galaxy, but everybody likes Galaxy. There is one that is more. I don't know which one it is. It's one of the more piney resinous hops, but I can't think of which one specifically. Amarillo? Is that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Something.
Awesome.
I don't know about a lot of specific hop things. So
yeah, no, fair enough. So what have you been doing beer wise?
Is the green ones? I like the green ones.
The green ones?
Yeah, the green hops.
They're nice. Yeah.
What were you saying?
What's going on beer wise? Like, have you had anything that's really kind of like piqued your interest as of late? Or...
So remember that when Katie and I went up to Massachusetts, New York in January, and I brought back that sour stout.
Yes.
Thing. Awesome. Fantastic.
That good, huh?
Yeah. I have no idea what the ABV or the age on it is, but it was.
And now, what was that made with? You said there was like something like it was a sour stout, but it had something like a herb or a berry or something in it, right?
Yeah, it was a Belgian style sour stout with black currants aged in like Cabernet barrels or something.
Okay, it is currants. I remember anytime beer has currant in it, I get excited. I don't know why. It's like about Pavlovian dog. I think I couldn't sit here and really explain my love of currant to anybody, but anytime I see currant, I'm like, currants?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like, that's gonna be good, so that's great. And now it's like you guys got that probably a while ago, like 6 months ago or some shit like that. Like you've been sitting on that, haven't you? When did you go
it was January.
Okay, yeah.
It was like mid-January. So yeah, most of this year.
Is Katie home yet?
No, she's out with her mom and sister. She has to work Sunday, so she.
Oh, I thought she was leaving and coming to your place. I was curious to see if she'd walk in the door to the beers that I get sitting with her.
Oh, well, depending on how long we're on here, she might, because I don't think she's going to be that much longer. She sent me a picture of every single one separately.
Oh, there you go. Which one has you most intrigued?
The most intrigued?
Yeah.
Probably hold on. Let me, because there's one I'm not remembering. There's that one. Oh, okay. Probably this Nitro Barista thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious.
It's 11%. That's intriguing.
Yeah. So that's Castile Brewing. They're a classic Belgian brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And they make Castile Rouge, and then they make Castile. They make I believe they make a Donker, and they make a Quad. They make whatchamacallit, a couple different beers.
Mm-hmm.
I've like so they make a beer called the Barista Chocolate Quad, which is it comes in a little stubby bottle. and it's fucking delicious. Basically, it's a Belgian quad with coffee and chocolate in it.
Mm-hmm.
And for a 4-pack of that, it's like $24. I saw this nitro version, and it was like $10.99. I was like, "How the fuck you give me 4 cans for $10.99?" I'm like, "I gotta get it." Literally bought it like 2 hours ago.
Is it the same? Is it the same beer, just nitro?
I don't know, because how can it? How can it be if they're charging that much for the other one? So I have no idea. Like I just said, well, I'm buying it, and Keith's getting one. So that's kind of how that one worked. So,
and then I've actually been wanting to try this Syria Brewing one thing.
Yeah. So
non-alcoholic.
I did a podcast as a guest last week with a guy from Justin Soderberg. He's actually the general manager of a brewery called Orono Brewing in Maine. But he has his own podcast where he talks about, like, it's called Maine State of Mind. And he had me on as a guest, and we were chatting back and forth, having fun and stuff like that. We got in the subject of non-alcoholic beers. And I was like, I told him, I'm like, I enjoy them. I'm like, I think everybody who drinks a lot of beer really does enjoy non-alcoholic beers to a we were talking about which beer ones we enjoy. And he actually mentioned that one. He's like, you ever see this brewery? He's like, try it out. I think it's pretty good. And like, I've never heard of them before. And then
I've just seen the cans around every once in a while, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, maybe I didn't notice, but I've never seen them before. And then like 2 days later, I was at Byram ShopRite, and I was in the non-alcoholic section because I was looking for non-alcoholic gin for Liesel. She wants to have a drink, but she's still nursing the baby, so she doesn't want to actually drink alcohol. And I look around and I turn, and there it is. I'm like, that's the fucking beer. Like, they make a Belgian version too, a Belgian ale. Yeah, Belgian golden ale. So I'm kind of curious to see what you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then the One Hop Butcher. I'm just this Florida Citrus Commission. It's a triple IPA.
Yeah.
The picture is kind of tilted, so I can't really see that.
Yeah, it's a 10.5% triple IPA, and it's a collab with somebody. I forget the name of the brewery, but it's not like a fancy pants brewery. It's like more of an unknown entity.
Probably out of those three. I mean that one seems intriguing, but the Destination Moon one, Mosaic, Chinook, and Simcoe, double IPA.
Yeah, I like that one just because it reminds me of Smashing Pumpkins.
What, the art?
Yeah, because that whole rocket to the moon thing that Smashing Pumpkins said was like from a movie from like the 20s or something like that. Like if you look at like one of their videos, basically has that logo in it. So anyway, yeah, let's go to the comments real quick and see what people are talking about. Hatchie Malachi saying, coming off Sierra Nevada summer break review, I've got a pitch for you, Matt. Marlowe eager to share in 12-ounce 12 packs for $20 to $25. Should I ask Zach to make it happen? How about I ask him? So I've been talking to I've been teasing that I'm bringing the podcast back, and the first person I am bringing the podcast back with is Zach from Marlowe. So yeah, we're gonna record actually Sunday. I probably won't post podcasts till at least the following week, but the first person to be back on the Beer Master podcast will be Zach from Marlowe. So I will ask him, be like, when is Eager to Share going to come in 12 packs for $5 a 12 pack? Not 25. I want them for $5. Yeah, anyway, that's not going to happen, but I will ask him. You can ask him too, but I'm going to ask him. More people ask him, more will happen. Tony saying, what's up, fellas? Tony says, interested to see what you guys make at UK beers. I know Matt's had Putty and some others. Do you ever seek out UK or other European releases? You want to go first?
Not really.
Yeah. Because
no, I'm answering the question. Not that I don't want to go first.
Okay.
I'm saying I don't really seek out European releases.
And the reason why Keith doesn't seek them out is because we don't get them. You know, if you talk about European beers, more specifically over UK beers, all we get is classics. You know, we get Belgian beer, we get, you know, some Spanish stuff, some French stuff, some, you know, stuff from Netherlands, UK stuff, but it's Samuel Smith's, it's La Trappe, it's a lot of the Trappist breweries.
Yeah.
There's nothing boutiquey about it. When it comes to English beers, more specifically English boutique beers, when you're talking Verdant and Cloudwater and Daya and all that kind of stuff, we don't see any of that shit. You guys don't understand. Like over there, like you're like, oh, we got Equilibrium on another half and Aslan and all this shit on our shelf. That does not happen over here. It doesn't go the other way. It's not like it's coming back over here. So pretty much all the UK beers that I've had, whether it be the Verdant Putty, which was the best hazy IPA I've ever had, to other like kind of, you know, Colonel boutique beers like that, we just don't get them, so we can't do that. You know what I mean? So you guys are on a one-way street going that way. So it sucks for us. Good for you, I guess. So Matt Brzezinski chiming back in. Just landed some Hill Farmstead Edward and Marie. Pumped to try. Also, the Self-Reliance Cascade I had was bonkers good. Keith, Hill Farmstead make okay beers?
They're fine, I guess.
Yeah. Shelfies, right?
Yeah.
They are technically shelfies. Like you could literally drive up to Hill Farmstead and go to like the local corner store that sells tobacco fucking grain and live bait, and they probably like legit have like cans on their shelves. Like that's it. Like
I think they only do bottles. Or no, I think they do get.
No, there's like small little mom and pop fucking general stores that carry fucking Hill Farmstead on the fucking shelf. Yeah. That's the funny part.
I meant to ask you about the since you brought up the since you brought up the podcast thing. Are you trying to get like beers from the brewery to drink while you're doing the podcast to like kind of talk about whatever, or are you just is it more of just like
just conversations, man. Like I don't care. Like I just want to talk to the people because like honestly, like at this point, like it's like I want to talk to the people that intrigue me, and if I intrigue me, that means I've one, drank their beers, and two, I know them. You know, I don't want to be like, hey, I've never had your beers before. What's your story? You know what I mean? Be like, hey, I've had your stuff and I'm kind of intrigued. Like, what's going on here? So that's the impetus about it. That's why like the first 4 people we're going to talk to is going to be, so it's going to be Zach from Marlowe. It's going to be Neil Cade from Gilded Skull, which is, and there's 2 breweries that are actually in the same vein as them. It's Neil Cade from Gilded Skull and it's guys from Time and Materials. Those are 2 homebrewers that sent me beer, homebrew wise, but now have commercially available beer on the market. Like they went from homebrew to actually commercial. And the latter half of that obviously went through the pandemic. So I'm kind of curious to see what that transition is like for someone that's passionate about homebrewing to actually make that jump. It's not like they're making the jump, they've made it. You know what I mean? Like they're actually producing liquid that is selling, you know, at retail, and go from there. And then we're going to talk to Josh from Abomination because I want to know how that whole works with 12% Beer Project and stuff like that. So Abomination Brewing, Gilded Skull, Time and Materials, and Zach from Marlowe Ales, which will be the first 4 that'll come up. We have a few more in the books, but I don't want to mention them until I get them locked in. So, but it's more like just me having conversations, and I'm going to interview some YouTube people. You know what I mean? People that do beer reviews on YouTube. I'll probably interview some people that like work in the beer industry but aren't brewers. You know, stuff like that. I don't want to pigeonhole it to a specific thing. Right. It's not going to be like, hey, you send me beer. I talk about your beer. That'd be pretty scumbaggy. Not that I'm below that, but I'm just saying I won't do that. So. Anyway. Why, you want to hang out and do one of them? I mean, so
No,
we do get.
I just
You should go ahead. Sorry.
I just got reminded of it because like I know I used to go with you sometimes, and we used to drink the beers at the brewery or whatever. So I didn't know if it was like you were gonna like. And the thing that reminded me of it was the other day I was up at the liquor store here, and they had those new Abomination released those newer Wandering into the Fog, and the place up here got the Lotus one and the Amarillo one, and it just made me think of that because I saw that you were going to be talking to Josh, so I was like, oh, I wonder if he's like looking for the like if he's gonna. I wasn't sure if you were gonna like grab beers from the brewery, not to necessarily like talk about them, but like just like be like, oh, I'm drinking your beer, like.
No, it's
like,
more just gonna be like
I'm there with you. Or whatever.
Well, John, I mean, not like John, or Josh's conversation is like interesting. Like it'll be interesting to talk about like the thought process and the way he ended up where he's at, because knowing him on the ancillary side of beer, like you probably know him a little bit better than me because you've hung out with him on multiple occasions. Knowing that he, wanted to open a brewery, found a spot in Allentown, wanted to do that, and then shifted to the model he's doing now. Yeah. And it is also succeeding and excelling at that model. It's like what shifted? What changed your mind? Was it necessity? Was it want? Like how? Like you know what I mean? Like what? Those are the questions that need to be asked. So it's more investigative journalism stuff than cocksucking, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least that's my gist. So we'll see what happens. But we'll do him. Like I forget what I don't know if I posted his to the calendar already. But
you did because I saw
okay.
it on there.
So that one will be fun. You should do the you should actually try and make the whatchamacallit, the Time and Materials one, because I think I've given you a couple of their beers, so that would be a fun one. I don't think I've ever given you any Gilded Skull. I might have shared some with you before.
No, pandemic. You gave me two of them. You gave me that autumnal IPA that was like 10%, and then you gave me that it was like an 8% gin.
No, that's Time and Materials.
Yeah. Is that what you're talking
There's another one I was talking about, which is Gilded Skull.
Oh,
that's the other one. I don't think I might have shared something with you from them in person.
No, I don't think you have. I don't think I've had anything from them.
Yeah. Anyway, let's try to get to the end of these comments before we go. Do you like beers of Funky Fluid? I don't know if that's a brewery name or. Do I like funky beers? Do I like beers that are funky? Yes. Do I like Funky Fluid? That's just kind of creepy, but yeah. Anyway, oh man, excited for the podcast. It's been a year since the last Shelton Brothers episode. Yeah, a year and a half. I actually have a podcast recorded that I never posted, and I kind of feel weird about posting it now because it's been like a year and a half.
Which one is it?
I have to go and hang out with those guys again because I feel bad because I never posted Last Way Brewing in Jersey. It's just because that. Like there was like a compressor going on in the background that I was like, it's like editing it was a fucking nightmare. And I was like, how do I get rid of this fucking noise? And I just said, I ignored it. I basically said, fuck it, I'm not doing it. What states had the best breweries? I've heard Denver has the best, but Vermont has most. What state has the best breweries? Probably California, I would imagine.
I mean, probably the biggest state with the most breweries probably has the best breweries because just like
Texas is on that list.
Oh, that's true.
I think
if
you were to go square like Jersey always wins contests because it's per square mile, not
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they always win that shit. So if you go per square mile, it probably. No, per square mile. Who would win per square mile? That's an interesting question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It It would definitely not be any of the states that I'm thinking of.
It might be
New York.
No, because New York. If you go New York, like just
yeah, New York State,
Manhattan metro area, but then
Yeah.
once you expand it, you're like, oh man, that's a ton of space. Maybe it is Vermont. You know what I mean? Just because like there's so many in Vermont, and it's big but not gigantic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like California is so big. If you go per square mile, it's up in the air. If you actually just go who has the best, it's probably California. Just because you could literally go to Rush River, then you go to Monkish, then you go to fucking like some barrel aged thing. Then you can go to so many different breweries because the state is so large. Okay, North Dakota. There you go. I've actually never had a beer from North Dakota, so I have no idea.
Actually, Minnesota, because Hammerheart is there, and they make a bunch of smoky beers.
Everybody's like, Hammerheart? What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's like a little log cabin in the woods or something.
Nope. Watch your mouth. You're gonna get sued by Tired Hands.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Tired Hands. Please don't sue me.
Yeah. See, and here's the thing. Like, let's skip over that. It says, if you look it up, it says Vermont has the most, so it's wrong. What about Denver? They have a beer culture. Denver has amazing breweries. You know what I mean? You have Avery. You have fucking Bierstadt. You have fucking a billion different breweries. They're fantastic.
True isn't Denver.
And yeah, you have a great. But I'm saying like the best of the best of the best. And like if let's put it this way, if someone says fucking Denver, Colorado has the best beer, is the best beer state, I'll fight you to death, and I would go, I'm not going to fight you about that. That's probably great. But if you said California, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds right too. You know what I mean? Like he said Vermont, I'm like, yeah, sounds about right. You know what I mean? Let's like, it's not like it's like fucking. I'm not pooping on fucking Colorado. It's just like
Well, the fact that when you hear the question and multiple states come into mind kind of answers the question. Like it's like I don't think I could say one state in particular has the best beer. Unless you were like narrowing it down to like as far as like best beer, like which state has the like best examples of different styles, I guess, because like there's some states that just or there's some breweries
let me ask you this question. Not the best state, the best region. Northeast?
I would say Northeast, yeah.
Northeast, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. Because if you lump together, like you're not even Pennsylvania and New Jersey, if you lump together New York, North, and West until New York, like you know what I mean, everything else combined, I don't think you get better. You know what I mean? Because then you have like who makes the best stouts. If you were going to say who makes the best stouts in the world, not in the world, in the United States, who makes the best stouts? Who comes to mind?
You put me on the spot. No, I don't know.
Okay, let's call out some of the best ones in the world. So you're talking about Angry Chair, you're talking about Fremont, you're talking about Revolution, you're talking about probably Hill Farmstead. Who makes a better stout than Barrel Aged Damon?
No, I've never had Damon, so I have no idea.
Okay. So that's a push. Let's call it a push. Like they're all different but equally delicious.
Yeah.
Okay. Who makes the best hazy IPA? Northeast, Southeast, Midwest to the West Coast, or Northwest? Who makes the best hazy IPA?
Northeast.
Okay. Who makes the best Pilsner or lager? Let's put it that way. Jack's Abbey. Okay, let's say who makes you know what I mean? Like who makes the best saison?
Oh. Well, one time I went to this brewery in Arkansas, and they had a really good saison. So Arkansas. I'm going to say Arkansas.
But here's the best. Let's retract it. So, who makes the best hazy IPA in the Northeast?
Like specifically?
No, who makes the best hazy IPA in the whole country? And why aren't the first 8 in the Northeast? Like it's Hill Farmstead, it's Other Half, it's Fox Farm.
Yeah.
It's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. It's like, you sure if someone wants to get all hot and bothered about Monkish, if someone wants to get all hot bothered about somebody else, that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and say no.
Right.
But it's like, here's these 40 people, and then you have a couple over there. Barley wine. Who makes the best barley wine in the country? That's actually hands down. That's actually North Central United States.
Was it Perennial?
It's Kunin and Revolution Brewing.
Oh.
Kunin and Revolution Brewing. So they have that shit. They win. Like, it's not even a contest. It's like fucking dead. But what else? Farmhouse Saison, we talked about. You could talk about Fox Farm. You can talk about Hill Farmstead. You can talk about, like, who else? Who else is making that level? There's some places out west, maybe, but it's not like top of mind. Maybe we're being a little bit kind of East Coast biased here. So it's like when you run through the styles, for me, it's like every area of the country has their own argument. But I think the Northeast has like 5 arguments for everybody's one argument. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah, you're right. The only difference would be West Coast IPA. It's like, obviously, you fucking Russia River, West Coast, fine, everybody, you win that round. But out of that, you know what I mean? Like, it's like culmination, like wanting to get everything you want. It's got to be.
Oh, man. Sean sent me some Sylvaticus beers, and he sent me a can of their hoppy lager. And based on all of the hoppy lagers that I have had, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Like, I like hoppy lagers. Like, that was like West Coast style IPA. Like, I could barely like if I was drinking that blind, I probably wouldn't have told you it was a lager. It was
an Imperial West Coast lager.
Yeah. Yes. It was super good. It was so good.
Hatchy Malachi, going back to his comment, says, to be honest, most of the beer I buy nowadays outside of Jersey local comes from 12%. Timber, delicious. They can have some crazy weird stuff, but Marlowe, always fantastic. Abomination, I enjoy. Short Throw is fucking fantastic.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Everything I've had from him.
I see him up here, but I've never had anything from him, so I just kind of.
I've had probably about not a huge sample size, but I probably had about, I want to say 6 beers from them. Everyone has been fantastic. So, Fat Orange Cat, I've had TCC. I haven't bought a bunch of their stuff. I had 1 or 2 things, but their price point tends to be a little bit high, so I don't buy them. And no, I've enjoyed everything they do there. That's why I'm interested to talk about Josh about the process, because basically all these brewers are going to the same place, making beer, and then leaving. So it's like kind of like I don't want to call it like contracting. It's more of like a what do they call that? A think tank, or like or a incubation area where they just kind of make beer and mess with stuff, and it kind of makes sense because like all the breweries, like Timber, what I've had was fine, but just keep getting better. Marlowe was pretty excellent from the get, keep getting better. Abomination, Short Throw, all the same. So you're talking about these gypsy brewers, for the lack of a certain moniker, these gypsy brewers who have been basically going the same system over and over for about 2 years now, is that every time they brew, they get more familiar with the system. So every time they get more familiar with the system, the beers get better. So it's interesting to see what will happen there. But I agree, Tim. I agree. Well, out of those breweries, what have you had, Keith?
I've had Marlowe, Abomination, and I think I want to say I've had Fat Orange Cat. I don't know if I've had any Timber, and I know I haven't had any Short Throw. Is Front Porch Brewing 12%? And have you had anything from them?
I saw them the other day. I forget where it was, but I have not had anything from them yet. So
Because I got a, I went up there. I got a mixed 4-pack of some stuff because they have the they had the Abomination Lotus and Amarillo Wandering into the Fog, and they had them in the single section, so I didn't have to buy an entire 4-pack of both of them. And I got a Front Porch Brewing IPA. I don't know anything about them. I just got it because it was a single IPA, and I liked the artwork, and it was actually I actually really liked it. So.
No, it was a single. You said it was a single IPA, like a regular IPA.
Way
You haven't
me
drank
down.
it yet?
No, I did. I drank it the other day.
Did you post a review?
Not yet.
If you don't post a review, it doesn't exist. Anyway, Jack saying if you look up Vermont, says it has the most, so it's wrong. What about Denver? Matt saying, speaking of Denver, WeldWorks makes some great beers. I like WeldWorks. I've enjoyed what I've had. I wouldn't say I was like, oh my God, WeldWorks. Jesus Christ. They've changed my mind about beer. That's it. But they're very, very tasty stuff. Jack322 says, where have you gone for best mom and pops beer, small business, etc. for ice cream? Amish in Pennsylvania best. I mean, homemade beer. This might not make sense. Yeah. Barley wine, baby. I kind of, yeah, I kind of think I don't know, homemade beer.
Where have you gone for best? I assume he's talking about like local beer, like small business. For example, ice cream. Amish in Pennsylvania is best ice cream.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about super local small brewery stuff, and like it's like home, like not homebrew level stuff, but like boutique small brewery stuff. Oddly enough, I would probably say Brooklyn. Like in that, and I mean that in a weird way, because when you talk about like when you talk about places like Folks Beer or Threes, even though get distribution, if you talk about how small they are compared to how big everybody else is, do you know what I mean? Like it kind of makes sense. It's like they're the mom and pop place. Yeah, sure, they produce cans, but they're kind of the corner bar or the corner brewery, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, if we're talking about regions, probably Brooklyn. I mean, if you're talking local, I really like around here, like Conclave. I don't know.
Yeah, Conclave is like the opposite, I think, of that. Like they're not homemade beer, like small beer. They're like Conclave is like the biggest small brewery in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that does. That actually.
You know what I mean? Like,
does make sense.
Like they're the biggest small brewery. Like they're like it's. Oh, look, we have royalty stopping by. Joe from the Beer Patrol.
Yep.
What's going on, homie? Hatchy Malachi saying he's alive. He is. That's all that matters. Felix saying, what are the good white beers in your area? Am I going to make it racist, dude?
White beers? Wit beers?
I think you mean wit beers. Yeah, I'm joking. Nobody. None. Nobody makes wit beers, man. What are you talking about? Ooh.
Alchemist just released their wit beer.
Well, that's Alchemist. He's going to do whatever he wants. No.
Oh.
I just did a beer review last night of a red IPA. A red IPA from Ten Bends.
Was it good?
It was delicious. It
was 10 Bends.
Yeah. Isn't it weird, Ten Bends, like Like,
is like crushing all the styles.
well,
all
not
the
just
time.
that. Is they're mad tiny. It's like, yeah, I love 10 bends. And then it's like, now I can get 10 bends wherever I want. It's available everywhere. Like, how the fuck does that happen? Because even under cans, it's not like we're like making beer and we're contracting out of blah, blah, blah. It's like they just basically bought like a huge facility, maybe. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like 10 bends is a random stop that was like, hey, this place exists. What did I found? What did I found them on my honeymoon? I think, right? And then when we went up, we went there.
No.
Yeah, it had to be because I went there on my honeymoon, and then we went after. Didn't we go up after my honeymoon?
No, I think we found them when we went up FOFA.
But I think I went to. I'm almost positive I went to 10 bends on my
maybe
honeymoon, and that was before. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's so funny to see them just be like, I walk into a shop right in Jersey, and I'm like, hey, 10 bends, how you doing? Oh, did you see everybody freaking out about a fucking other half today in PA?
Oh, at Shangy's?
Well, Shangy's announced a couple days ago they had it, but then like they started doing drops today in PA. Everybody's
like
freaking out. Well, yeah, like where you'd expect all the PA places in Northeast, you'd expect to get them. They got a bunch of other half. And it was like everybody's like 1 can only, like 2 cans only, and it's like $25 like a 4-pack. And then like I went to fucking Bourbon County, what is that? Bourbon Street Liquors in Phillipsburg today, and I got some other half like for like $18 a 4-pack. So yeah. It's so weird because it's like I can't believe other half's on a shelf, and then I'm like, yeah, just $18 a 4-pack. PA's like $26.
Yeah, it's probably a bit of a markup.
When's the last time you did other half?
Like went to other half?
Yeah.
Like the end of last year, maybe. Sometime.
I went sooner. Oh no, that's not that long ago. Yeah.
I haven't. Yeah. I haven't been in. Yeah, a while. I don't even remember the last time I went. Actually, it might have been when I picked up that Folks beer, Black is Beautiful, which was in November.
How'd that go? That was a live stream you just did, right?
Oh yeah, it went well. It was a Imperial Stout with coffee. The coffee dropped off a little bit,
Okay, let's see. Lord's Brewing, doing the Lord's work, saying hey. Here's a loaded question.
Nope. Next
I
question.
assume you're going to Boston. You're not going to a Windward Instrument. So if you're going to Boston, let's be serious. Like if you're going to Boston and you can go to 3 places, where would you go?
Like if we're talking like Boston, right? Not like
Boston proper.
Trillium, I guess. I don't know that many breweries like in Boston. Like all the breweries I know in Massachusetts.
On the edges of Boston, that's fine because there's not. It's New York City. How many breweries are in Manhattan? Like 1. Like we can count Brooklyn and Queens and all that shit. Like yeah.
I don't know how far Amesbury is from Boston, but Silvaticus, I would say, is worth checking out.
So my Boston would be Night Shift is like probably your best bet because it's easily accessible. And it's a super comfy place to drink in. Like it's huge. There's a ton of tables. The beers are never going to steer you wrong. So Night Shift is like I'm going to go someplace and drink. Trillium's a must, but you're talking about the OG Trillium spot in Boston is takeout only. But if you want to play loose and fast, you can do the other location. And if we're playing loose and fast on the outside of Boston, I'm going to cheat and give you two more.
Oh,
It's going to be Jack's Abbey. All right, three more. Jack's Abbey, which is on your way to Boston, unless you're coming from the north, which why the fuck would you do that? So Jack's Abbey in Springdale, which is the same, it's in the same building. So Jack's Abbey is Jack's Abbey's lager program. Springdale's their non-lager program. And then shortly away from there is Exhibit A, which is like, which is nice lagers and small place. It's actually the place that Jack's Abbey used to exist in. And the reason why I say that is because you're going to get awesome hangs and beers at night shift. Exhibit A is going to give you small brewery vibes. And then if you do Jack's Abbey and Springdale, which are kind of together, you get bomb pizza because Jack's Abbey does great pizza.
I was going to say, isn't Trillium's restaurant thing in Boston?
It could be, yeah. That's how long it's been since I've been up there. And like, yeah, but I heard it's like $9 billion.
Yeah. I have heard that as well.
Oh, here you go. You know what? You don't need to ask me. You need to ask not this guy. That's BC's. He's just saying hi. What's going on, homie? You need to ask this guy, Oak Ridge, who's in the house. My man Oak Ridge is in the house, and he says Kelson isn't far away from Boston. So Kelson makes traditional tasty jammers. He would be the guy to ask because Oak Ridge travels way more than me.
Actually,
just to give you an idea, Felix, like Winky says, Samuel Adams, sneaky good fucking tour, dude. If you're in fucking Boston and you want to just have fun and have some bevies, go to fucking Sam Adams. Like, no joke. No, like fucking sarcastic winky eye. I'm not saying you're doing that, Felix, but like, you're going to have fun. You're going to drink good beers. And they're going to give you fucking Utopias. They're going to be like, here, drink Utopias. Have fun with it. I'm like, fucking go there, man. Like, Sam Adams makes some good stuff. Serious. What were you going to say, Keith?
Is Notch Brewing near Boston? If you like lagers and it's near Boston.
No, it's Salem. Isn't that like the easternmost
No, I have no idea.
area?
No idea. My Massachusetts geography is I failed that in high school.
So what you're saying is the rest of your geography is just spot on.
Spot on. Yes.
Spot on.
It's just the Massachusetts one that I was terrible at.
And then Jack chiming in. He says, no, I mean for drinking. So you think there are other states like Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont is better for drinking? Oh, he's talking about what's the best place to go drinking. Honestly, to make this as like open of a conversation as possible, the best place to go drinking is New York City. Because they're going to get every beer you could possibly imagine. Like it never used to be that way. But now, like you could, if you're in Manhattan proper, you could find a bar that has Cantillon. You could find a bar that has Monkish. You could find a bar that has fucking all the New York breweries. You could find a bar that has fucking Angry Chair Stout. You could literally find, if you really wanted to, you could find any brewery you wanted to in New York. You could. Because somebody's going to have it on draft. Or somebody's going to have it in bottles. But if we're going to get like existential and ethereal here, or whatever you want to call it, best place to drink is your backyard. Your friends. Aw. Oh shit. It's about to be loud up in this piece. Okay. I think I'm gonna sign off now.
Howdy.
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Mike.
Chilling. Just got finished grocery shopping.
Oh.
How's everything going?
Good.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm gonna
Very
go.
lively
I'm gonna
bunch.
go. What?
Oh wait, before Keith says anything, I gotta go do something. So you guys entertain yourselves.
I have to go get a beer though.
I have one for both of us.
Thanks, Mike. What is that? Spyglass. It is strawberry banana coconut chocolate fruited sour ale. Is it good?
It's okay. I mean, it's not what that says. You know what I mean? It's sort of like fruit sour.
Is it supposed to be like a Neapolitan kind of thing?
I don't think that was the intention. That wasn't anywhere in the description they put online. I just think they had some extra adjunct stuff and not enough for one of them. So you just put a bunch of shit. It's pretty good. I mean, honestly, the more I have them, I mean, these aren't that new. When they're almost 2 months a day. But they're better almost every time I have them. I think it was a little too I mean, it was good even at the beginning, but it seems like it's mellowed out over the last 2 months. Be a little more like palatable for like non-sour drinkers.
Mm.
But I like sour beer, so I don't care. Big on this weekend.
What?
So what do you got going on this weekend?
This weekend, I had something Sunday, but now that's not happening, so nothing
Oh, Jesus.
as of right now. Probably just
Isn't Sunday Mother's
clean-
Day?
Yes.
I don't talk to my mother, so it doesn't happen to me.
Are you doing anything this weekend?
A lot of work stuff. We're doing a whole bunch of weird updates to shit, so I kind of have to be around remote.
Yeah.
And then maybe Sunday I actually might have to drive in, depending. I'm hoping I don't have to. Just been a lot of stuff. I've been pulling a lot of hours lately, and there's stuff I want to do this weekend. Just, but you know, such is life. They pay the bills, so that's what happens. Buddy of mine that I used to play music with just sent me a video. I'm not going to play it here, obviously, but of our old band a couple years ago playing some stuff, and it was like made me happy in a way that I haven't been in a while. It's like just playing guitar and drums bashing around, playing like this ridiculous punk rock music that I don't even listen to, honestly, but I'll play.
Yeah.
And it was just, yeah, you know, I honestly haven't even seen him in person since the next started. Although we chat all the time, but just to see like him, me, and my brother just jamming away was just really, really fun. Just to have a nice nice look at the way things were back when I was less miserable.
Right. Yeah. Those were the days, right?
So I think he's gonna end up posting on Facebook for like my band's page that I haven't updated in like 5 years.
Are you guys still a band, or are you just?
Yeah, I mean, within reason. We stopped jamming because of the pandemic, and just work got more messed up, and I imagine he's probably vaccinated at this point. We could probably do it. But I mean, I haven't had time to do shit in,
Right.
you know, seriously months. Basically, I mean, this is live. I hope someone I work with sees this. I don't give a fuck, I guess. But we're like at like pre-pandemic production, and they don't want to hire anyone, and everyone's stressed out, everyone's overworked, and it's like really, really bad.
What?
and
So
they're like,
they
"Well,
so they laid a bunch of people off at the beginning, and now they don't want to rehire those people, and they're basically at the same.
no one got laid off. People got furloughed, and they came back within 2 months. Everyone came back except for like 2 people. But what ended up happening is like if because work wasn't that consistent, if people
Mhm.
left, they were like,
Oh.
"Oh well, we're not throwing that. We're not throwing that. We're not throwing that. We're not." And just it's getting to the point where like we're down 3 heads in my department alone, and they're like, are you though? Work's getting done. Like, yeah, you have people that are on the verge of fucking leaving. So is the work getting done? Yeah, maybe, but it's at the detriment of success, because the job we do is, I mean, this is arrogant. It's a skilled job, and to bring people in and hire new people, training takes months. You know, you don't get the production from a person that you could have just kept around if you treated them.
Right.
Hey, Mr. Matt.
All right, I'm
going
gonna grab a beer because I've waited long enough.
Sorry, Keith. The baby needed me.
Sean's over there.
Very funny. Yeah. What's going on, brother?
I'm
How's
good,
things going?
man. I'm real good. I'm happy I'm sitting down. I'm happy I have a beer in my hand. I have no more like legitimate responsibility for the day. Things are a lot worse right now.
Nice. How was the birthday weekend?
The birthday weekend. It was good. It was good. We went up to sort of like a ski resort. Not necessarily, I guess, because we don't ski or anything, but it's up in the mountains, and we just hung out. We did some walking, had some good food, just kept a nice, relaxing, low key kind of weekend. Just made it easy. You know, I hate going away and coming back tired. You know, like
Yeah.
I also hate going away
I
and
do-
having somewhere. Go ahead.
I do like whenever I do like a vacation, I like purposely always put like 3 or 4 days at the end where I'm home doing nothing. You know what I mean? Where I can always like decompress and go back to work and do all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I get it. I one of my weird pet peeves is if you go on vacation, you have like a really nice place, like you overspend on it, and then you don't spend any
Yeah.
time there.
no,
This-
yeah. Why?
It's ridiculous. So this time we ended up spending a lot of time in the room. There was a couple hot tubs. My wife must have spent, I don't know, a third day in it. Just a good kind of time, good time to be away. It was well needed.
I will say this though. So there has been times where I have vacationed
Mhm.
and have either been upgraded or accidentally put in a room that I have no financial reason being in. Like, for example, like I've been upgraded to like a suite that like costs way too much money I would never do, and that didn't suck. You know what I mean? So it's like I would never pay that money, but when I'm in that situation, I'm like, I understand why this costs this much because this is fucking fantastic. But I felt that way actually with a lot of Airbnbs. Like I'll pick an Airbnb that's supposed to be like kind of like it looks ghetto, but then I get there, I'm like, this is really fucking nice. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that there have been some Airbnbs that, like you said in picture, you're like, well, it'll work. And you get there, you're like, what the fuck? Like, what lens were you using when you took these pictures?
Yeah.
That's good, man. And I think I don't know how. I mean, I was just talking to Keith kind of working within reason. But I don't know how work has been for you, but like, man, I've been really valuing my time off. I know you have a kid and stuff, so I don't know how it's all working for you, but it seems like work is out of control for me.
I mean, work is like my company is that I work for has grown exponentially during the pandemic. So it's not like a company that's slowed down. So it's gotten increasingly busier. To the owners of my company's credit, they have actually bucked their stubbornness to actually bring on quality employees and have gone another way to try to bring people on. That's been a difficult thing because we're in a flux right now of what is a living wage. You know what I mean? Like we've always been well above, the company I work for has always been well above like minimum wage. Like when minimum wage is $7, we are always paid 12. But now $12 isn't, you can't get anybody to work for $12 an hour, which, you know, and I think is fantastic. You know what I mean? Like you need, you know, like they're paying people 15, $16 to start, which is great. So a lot of more people are making decent wages, but you know, those people are starting to creep closer to what I make. So it's like getting to a point where like, okay, well, you know, where does my wage go from there? So that's one of the things, but it's like, I'm not even concerned about that right now. You know, it's more about just hanging out with the kiddo and doing that kind of thing. And it's been pretty awesome, man. We have a great support system. And like, honestly, like, you know, COVID aside, which is still super important and super prevalent and needs its importance to be not just heard, but adhered by. I'm probably happier now than I have been in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with the baby. Like he's so fucking cool, dude. Our kid is fucking cool. Like you have no idea. Like I've had nieces and nephews and friends that have kids. Like our kid's fucking cool. Like I just literally went and hung out with my kid and he was like laughing and joking and looking at me and like he just doesn't bitch and complain. He doesn't like, he's just, we're like, we see other families with children, infants, and we just shake our head going, man, we're fucking lucky. Every time we look at people, we're like, we're fucking lucky. Like he's just fucking awesome. He hangs out and laughs and farts and shits. That's his whole life. There's no the only time he cries is when he's hungry. That's it. Done.
You've had plenty of practice with Keith, right?
Oh my God, you have no idea. Like that's the whole thing with how misanthropic Keith has been. It's like anything would be a ball of sunshine. So yeah.
Good. I hated telling people that early parts of the pandemic, we were all kind of stuck at home. In some respects, like I was really happy about it. Like I mean, I didn't like the people dying, and that's not what I mean. But like, I liked spending more time at home. I liked spending more time with my wife. That was sort of organically kind of, you know, created. I liked certain aspects of it. I liked the fact that everyone sort of took what was important to them, and you know, we were required to. And I think that in some respects, my relationship with my wife got better. You know, because we had more time to spend together in like a way that was like without pressure. Like, oh, what are we going to do this week? Where are we going to go this weekend? We just spent time together, and it was good. I mean, within reason.
Well, that was kind of. I don't want to call the pandemic easy, but like a bulk of my personal life was here. Like we didn't leave here. You know what I mean? Like pretty much the only thing that changed between pre-pandemic to now is me texting Keith going, hey, do you want to go here this weekend? And then me and him jumping in my car and going to 3 or 4 breweries on a day and then coming home. Outside of that, you know, minus little tweaks, like, you know, curbside pickup for this, buying beer over the mail, like little tweaks. It was pretty much like, hey, Keith, you want to go to upstate New York? Do you want to go to the Jersey Shore? Do you want to go to Pennsylvania? It was basically a rotational, like, let's visit some breweries every week or two. That's the only thing that's been missed. And like, we're close to that. Like, it seems like we're turning a corner as a nation, to the point where we might actually be able to do those kind of things. Personally, myself, I don't feel comfortable doing that stuff until probably mid to late summer at least. Just so, like, with the baby and my wife and stuff like that. But I don't mind the state in the environment I'm living in now, but I'm looking forward to doing things that I didn't do previously. I'm not like chomping at the bit, be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going here, I'm going there. The only thing that has me concerned is like there was somebody caught the other day, like boarding a plane going out of state to where they fraudulently like produce credentials that they were vaccinated, but they weren't, but they were COVID positive. So it's that kind of thing. Like I did my part. I wore a mask. I still wear a mask. Like I wear a mask at work, and I'm a month and a half after, and like people, like sometimes people look at me weird, like, why the fuck are you wearing a mask? And be like, cause you're fucking supposed to, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like I'm still like, doing my part, but there's people that just don't give a shit. So I don't know. It's insane.
I was actually talking to Katie about that recently. I was like, because she's like, oh, I miss my friends and stuff like that, and she does things. And I was like, yeah, pretty much the only thing that's changed is I don't go to breweries with Matt. Like, that's the only thing that's like, I was like, I don't do anything except for that, and I don't do that anymore, so. Yeah.
But even like, we've softened. Like I think we're very, and by we I mean me and my wife. I think we're very strict with way things go, but like, everything revolves around a baby, obviously, and we brought the baby back, and like, we got an immense amount of pressure from certain family members to see the baby. Not like, fuck you, I don't care about the virus, I want to see the baby. They're just like, I really need to see the baby. Like, they're just like so connected to that aspect of it that they're just like, please let us see the baby. We need to see the baby. We're like, at first we're like, no, you're not gonna see the baby. We're like, we're sorry. Then went to, okay, you could see the baby, but it has to be outdoors. And if you get within 6 feet without a mask, we're going to drop kick you in the face. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And, there are, you know what I mean? Like a couple people that were like, okay, now you can come over and hold the baby and hang out with the baby. And like, we're like, not that we're like being dangerous or being uncautious or whatever you want to call it, but, we're just understanding boundaries and rules and all that kind of stuff. So, like the other day, Keith stopped over, and previous to that, it was pretty much drop-offs, and I stood outside and talked to Keith. I didn't have a mask on. Keith did. You know what I mean? But I was comfortable standing outside at the distance I was talking to Keith without a mask on. He had one on, which made me feel infinitely comfortable. You know what I mean? But it was also like, if we were sitting outside, like, 10 feet apart with no mask out, I probably would have felt the same amount of comfort. And it's not so much that I'm becoming like lax on my protocol as far as COVID, but I understand how serious I am about it. I understand how serious Keith is about it. So, I feel comfortable, and being outside talking to somebody like Keith at a safe distance. So it's a moving parts in a mechanism that has a lot of moving parts. So
yeah, it was a weird time, but this is unprecedented in any part of like history that I was aware of. I mean, I understood that we had issues in the early parts of the last century, but like to need to have a lot of information on it wasn't the thing. So it's like, oh, there's a big flu. Oh yeah, big problems. Oh shit, 1920s. That shit sucks. The idea of it happening now was honestly like, even though you'd read stuff in the press and like, oh, this could happen. You're like, yeah, okay. but man, it fucking did. And I don't know, like, I don't actually have an issue wearing a mask. I don't know why people get so pissy about it. I can do it the rest of my life and not be honestly that unencumbered in person. You know?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I got so used to wearing one that I just I wear it all the time now. It's like wearing a shirt. It's just like something you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people get like this idea built in their head that it is just straight up fucking Nazi fascism.
Destroying their freedom.
Like yeah. And when it's actually it's the exact opposite of what they think. But and here's the thing, like there's been times where it took me a while to find an actual mask that felt like relatively comfortable. And I get fucking hot and bothered in that shit sometimes. Sometimes it sucks. I'm like running cable across fucking 100-foot fucking ceiling and I'm wearing a mask. It sucks, but I'll take a breather. Like I'll take a breather. I'll be like, okay, now I need to not wear my mask, but I just walk down from where I am and I go into a certain area and I fucking hang out for 5-10 minutes and do nothing and then I go back to my work. Like it's not that complicated. It's like here's the thing. Like the people that like get all hot and bothered about like wearing a mask and be like, that's fucking un-American. Those are the same people trying to like figure out how to scam like breaks off their workplace. This is like the same. So if you're like, yeah, like, dude, don't you know if you like walked outside for like 15 minutes and like took your mask off, if the owner of your company said like, what are you doing? To be like, I'm taking a breather from my mask because I want to be COVID safe. They would not. They can't do anything. Like you just get a 15-minute break for nothing. You know what I mean? Be like, why don't you do that, dude? Instead of complaining the whole time, running around with a mask off. Yeah, it's insane. I've rolled into I go pick up breakfast a couple times. Once a month or twice a month from this breakfast place down the road from here. And they'll be like hillbilly boys with like fucking like their fucking phones on their holsters. You know what I mean? Like they purposely have the mask like right below their bottom lip. Like I have a mask on, but I'm not using it. Like you know, they're waiting for their fire page to come through, and it's just like, dude, why are you being that guy? Like they're the only person. There's like 30 people in the fucking breakfast place, and they're doing that, and they're just like, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna buy into that shit. You know, it's like, come on, man.
It's also funny, like, because I know a couple people, but like generally, like the manly men who are like, oh, masks are oppressive or whatever. They ride motorcycles and do like 90 miles an hour on the highway wearing a face covering. And they're like, I can't breathe in this. It's like, bro, yeah. like if you can breathe wearing a face covering, doing 90 miles per hour or 80 miles per hour, or even 70 miles per hour on a highway, on a motorcycle, you can breathe in a mask. Like it's just,
well, see, like if you actually talk about like circling back to like company shit that we're talking about earlier, then you have like those like, you know, I have so many people, like a good friend of mine, my best man at my wedding, like called me the other day, and you know, and we talk like at least once a week, and he was like started on this diatribe of like, you know, employment and, you know what I mean, like finding employees. And he started getting, and like we're polar opposites on like idealism. And he started talking about like, he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I can't find anybody to work for my fucking company right now. He's like, it sucks. He's like, you know, the fucking federal government fucking like additions. It's like, whoa. He's like, what? I was like, whoa, dude. I'm like, how much you paying your employees? I was like, you're just not paying them enough. He's like, whoa. I'm like, no. I'm like, you're just not paying you. Like, you can't do that. You can't be like, I'm paying my employees this that the market dictates because that's what the market dictates. And then like on the other end of the spectrum, when the market dictates this much, you're like, oh, fuck everything. You know what I mean? But like, no, dude, you're like, pay them more. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, pay them more money. He's like, can't. I'm like, and the funniest part is he's like, I can't. I was like, the conversation we had like a minute before all this went down was he's like, dude, he's like, you have no idea. He's like, I'm like on the 80th floor of a high rise in Miami looking over the beach. He's like, I've never seen a view like this before. I was like, dude, you just literally told me you're like saw a view of Ballers. Like you're like on the 80th floor of a high rise in Miami. Like, how the fuck are you there? Like what? Like, why are you there? And he's like, well, I'm on vacation. I'm like, because you couldn't afford to be on the 80th high rise of fucking Baller spot in Miami. I'm like, maybe the levels are wrong. I'm like, and he started getting angry. I'm like, dude, I'm like, we didn't even talk about that previously. Like, you're like, he's like, you can't even get it. He's like, I walk out my balcony. It's like I'm on top of a mountain. The wind is so violent. I'm like, pay your employees more. I'm like, you might, well, okay, you're on the 40th floor instead of the 80th. You know what I mean? Like, that's the conversation. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, just pay your employees more and then you get more people. And I'm like, the other end of the spectrum is like, you know, it's been so long in one direction that people are like, you know, I'm paying a good wage. But the idea of a good wage has been skewed to where it's been $15 an hour world. And in a truth, like a decent wage should be, you know, probably more in the line of $25 to $30 an hour. The biggest problem with $25 to $30 an hour is that I make less than that. So my wage should be 50 or 60. Like in the grand scheme of things, I'm not talking about like my worth is better than your worth, but I'm talking about like skill sets for skill set. So it's like, how does my wage relate to that? So that's the next up and comings of payment and wage. So we'll see what happens.
What's the state minimum wage where you are?
Pennsylvania. Well, I'm in Jersey. What is Jersey?
I think it's like $7.25. Is the no, federal is $7.25, isn't it?
I know PA is $7.25, I believe. I think Jersey might be like 11 and change.
Yeah,
I'm guessing though. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I know like New Hampshire's very low. It's like $7.25. And Mass is like $12. And like I live right on the New Hampshire Mass line. I know so many people that still live in Mass and work in southern New Hampshire.
New Jersey,
what are you fucking doing?
According to this, New Jersey's minimum wage is $12 an hour.
There you go. I mean, that's
as of this year, though. So it's been the minimum wage for 5 months.
But it's crazy to me that you can have states that'll have say $12 and then an adjacent state $7. Like what the fuck? You know? It's ridiculous. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like minimum wage actually doesn't mean anything. Like it actually doesn't.
Nope.
It's relation to cost of living. So it's like you know it's very easy to fucking calculate. You know what I mean? Like if the person like you know in 1950s was making $3 an hour and a house cost $20,000, like that's way different than somebody making, you know what I mean? Like fucking $10 an hour and a house costs $250,000. You know what I mean? Like it's a difference between what you make versus what things cost.
You just need to stop. You just need to stop buying so much avocado toast, Matt. Is really what you need to do. But
I knew that. God damn it, Keith! You're so
with all the avocado toast. You'd be able to buy a fucking $500 million mansion if you would just stop eating toast with avocado on it.
But I love toast. I love it. I love it.
I mean,
so
avocado he only eats because he wants to feel uppity. I mean, duh.
I actually hate avocado. I'll be that guy. I think avocado's dumb.
I'm not a fan.
Avocado's dumb. Avocado is the Elmer's glue of fucking.
It's so weird because I don't like avocado, but I do like guacamole.
Okay, so you like avocado onions. Okay.
So you don't like tofu, but you like the things it's flavored with. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I shit you not. I had avocado toasted for dinner yesterday. It's probably the first time I've had it in years, but it's funny that you brought it up. Yeah, no, I think that like even right now, like the money I get paid, I'm fucking way overpaid. I don't get paid that much, but I'm way overpaid for what I do. But like right now, if you're gonna buy a house where I live anywhere, it's 300,000 or more. I mean,
real estate is insane right now. Like insane. You see people like joking, it's a meme, but you see people joking like, I want to part out my house for lumber because that's how like I'll make more money from a house if I just like sell the lumber in my house than the actual house itself. But it's like I'm lucky in where I live. You know what I mean? Like I'm like where I live, who I live with, all that kind of stuff. I don't have to worry about those things. But like, fuck, dude. Like there's people across the street. Like their house actually went up for sale about a month and a half ago. Like on a DL. Like they didn't want to tell us they were selling it because they're friends and they're being weird about it. And I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I kind of want to buy their house. I'm like, I would love to buy the property across the street from where we live now. And I'm like, that's gotta be like fucking $250,000, maybe 300,000. Yeah, it's like $800,000. So I'm like, what? I'm like, it's not even close. Like that's not what it should be. I'm like, that's insane. And you know what? It'll sell in like a minute. And I'm like, okay.
It's funny because I made a joke the other day. I was like, to Katie, I was like, oh, we should buy that house so that I can live across the street from Matt and you can live next to your parents. and then she was like, I don't think you should live that close to Matt, and I don't think I should live that close to my parents. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, it was like, what is it, like $700,000 for like a fucking $200,000 fucking property? It's like, no. I looked into it, like legitimately, like non-joking, looked into it because I was like, because that house across the street from where I live was actually like Liesel's grandparents. They built that house, so it's not like just a house. They like literally built it. I was like, it's a small house. It's a ranch. It's on a small piece of property. I'm like, what could it be? You know what I mean? What could it possibly be? You know, $200,000 if we're being crazy? No, wrong.
This area is not, or not this area, but your area is.
Lumber is going crazy though, huh? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Is it?
Not that 93 lumber, but lumber in general. Yeah.
93 lumber is a bargain.
I hit 100 subscribers today though.
Oh, good for you. Good luck. Chris, I think that took Sean and I 5 years. Congratulations. I was a kid. It wasn't a joke.
I forgot to post a video today and I hit 100 subscribers. I have no idea what I'm doing.
That table that Sean and I have been using in our videos now, I worked on that with my uncle, and when we went to get the plywood and everything, he's like, yeah, we should get some cabinet grade, and we're just talking about it on the way in the store. He goes in and he was like, what the fuck? Like, because he was sort of budgeting for me, like well, in his head, I know, but there would be like $40 in materials. You know what I mean? For a couple pieces of plywood and everything. Like the plywood was like $80 or $90 a sheet. For everything we needed, it was still a bargain. I think I spent $225 on all materials. So and I'm happy to pay it. That wasn't an issue. But he was like, Mike, a couple years ago you could have got this done for $60.
Yeah.
But lumber's like going so out of control that like even plywood's like $90, $80 a sheet. You know, it's like Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
hey, Ralph.
Oh.
Yeah, is there a reason that lumber's that high? Like, or is it just
Because someone at the top knows they make more money. I guess like fucking trees.
Can I give you and Sean a suggestion, Mike? Just move the camera closer, please. Just move the camera, like elevate it a little bit and move it closer. Like, I don't need to see your ankles or like the bottom of the table. Like it serves no purpose. So if you
Listen, I love my ankles. Don't fucking talk shit about my ankles. That's bullshit.
Oh no, I love you, dude. I love your kid. But what I'm saying is, when it pertains to beer reviews, being like a quarter mile away doesn't really serve a purpose.
Yeah, no. We are going to. We did our last videos in that space today. We're done in that space. Sean is going to be renovating his basement, and we have a different spot down there that we're going to be working in about 2 months. Until then, we'll be doing a little bit here and stuff on his back porch and stuff like that. We did a little video today, just as a heads up, where we talked about like if anyone has any like tips, any ideas, anything you guys, think that we could do better, like just throw them up and we'll try to incorporate it in how we go in the future. I did notice looking at some videos today because Sean sort of sets the camera up, and I don't take a lot of interest. It's out of laziness. I did notice it shows a lot of that table. It's like this is all we need is the top.
Yeah.
So I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I'll talk to him about that too, because I do think we could get a little closer. Like we used to do it a lot closer before. But
it's not a matter of like being super close or far. I think you guys changed formats as far as angles. You just didn't think about what's the best angle. You know what I mean? You got that new tabletop. Like, just get it. I don't need to see below here, brother. I mean, like, I don't need to see this.
Listen, when I'm on camera and my shirt's rising above my belly button, it's on. Because I know that Keith's watching. You know.
I am. I'm definitely.
Yeah,
I was actually hoping that you guys would move the camera back a little bit more so I could catch more of those sexy bods, as I like to call them. I was like, oh, this is what I'm watching for. Yeah. Yeah.
Matt, I think you're right though. I think that's what we're gonna have to sort of adjust things. We're going to. I think that we got so excited about being back in person that like other things that were important maybe got missed. And I think we could crop out a little bit more of the room, get more closer to us, be more about the beer.
Ooh.
Less about
good.
those.
There you go.
You look like you're ready to go, Matt.
No. Not only am I ready to go, you know what I'm ready to go to?
Hang up the
I have downloaded What About Bob?
That's such a good movie.
That's what I'm talking about, motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. I've downloaded the updated like 4K version of What About Bob. And that's what I think I'm gonna go fucking watch right now. Oh my god, I love that movie so fucking. Mike, do you know what we're talking about?
No.
Wow. Bill Murray and Richard
Keith Golem. Keith Golem.
Yeah,
All right.
it's so good. You gotta.
Yeah,
I know.
Bill Murray, fucking
Mhm.
out. What it was, Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Fucking like basically, it's Bill Murray like driving Richard Dreyfuss insane. Not just like in the movie, like literally, like during the production of the movie, like he like drove Bill Murray drove Richard Dreyfuss insane at a point where he's like when he freaks out in a movie, it's like real. Like he did it on purpose to try to like make him like just go ballistic. So yeah.
I'll give it a try. I'll look it up later.
I can't believe you don't know what about Thomas. Like, it's not a matter of you looking it up. I'm just like blown away that you don't know what this movie is.
Wait,
Keith,
wait,
back
Mike,
me up.
Mike, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
37.
No excuse.
7?
No fucking excuse.
No, I was just for context because like I used to watch that movie all the time because like. And then maybe it's the age gap. Like maybe it like died down a little bit or something. Because like Matt's older, and then I'm younger, and then
he's 35, dude.
Maybe he just missed it. Like maybe it was just like one of those things that just missed the thing.
I'm offended. Actually, like I'm legit offended. Like you haven't watched this movie before.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, I guess I don't know. I watched the shit my parents watched. It wasn't like a fucking movie I'm avoiding. This fucking Bob movie. What is this shit? This is a plan, and I'm going forward with it. Fuck Matt. I haven't even met him yet, but fuck him. Like I don't know. Like, as a kid, you watch shit your parents fucking make you watch. You know. So I watched a lot of Predator and La Bamba.
It came out the same time as Predator and La Bamba. That's the thing. You're like trying to be like, oh, this is the shit my parents watched, but no, it's the shit you should have watched. You just think it's like fair. Old school stuff. Like you can't say like Predator, fuck you, fucking.
No, it's just what I'm saying is that's stuff. I mean, I don't know. I saw like a bunch of Bill Murray stuff. I guess. I mean, honestly, maybe that one did end up. But I don't recall. Obviously, you know.
It came out in 1991.
Well, it was way after Predator then. Predator.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, motherfucker.
Yeah, got me good. Yeah, I haven't seen it. But if it's that good, I'll watch it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So let's put it this way: imagine Sean. If you couldn't get rid of him.
Okay, so
couldn't get rid of him. Like no. Like anytime you tried to have like peace and quiet, Sean popped up. Like anytime. Like you'd be like hanging out with your wife, about to like go to sleep, Sean pops up. Like anytime you're about to go to sleep, oh no, let's get frisky with the wife, Sean pops up.
Or like you went out of your way to make sure that Sean wouldn't pop up, and he pops up.
And he pops up.
I'm thinking Sean should call this movie, you know, this sounds like me and Sean and me.
What about Sean? What about Sean? Okay. Well, I'm done. I'm gonna go watch What About Sean, apparently. So
good seeing you guys.
Say goodbye to everybody. So
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
If we didn't get your question, suck it. Hopefully we're on next time, and see ya. Cheers.